Hey everybody, John Ellison here from ReFi DAO. Super excited to announce this ReFi Rate-athon with my friend Paula Palermo from Impacta and also Luuk from PrimeDAO and Collectivo. We are so excited to have this opportunity to build on this amazing movement and look at some of the best actors in the space through a structured process. Luuk, thanks for initiating this, man. I know you guys have done a couple of these so far. Curious to have you walk us through what this Rate-athon is and how people can get involved.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me, John. I'm super excited about this one. So PrimeDAO is a DAO-to-DAO builder network, and ever since our initiation over 2 years ago, we've been really focused on trying to make sense of the space. It started off with a DeFi space where we created a DeFi prime rating, where we had a score of different qualities of DeFi programs. Recently, about a month ago, we started with Metaverse as well, where we started really diving into Metaverse indexes, trying to make sense of these different protocols. Now, Prime has always been kind of at the intersection of impact, innovation, DAOs, and the real world. So recently we've partnered with Cello on a ReFi launch program where we're trying to support new ReFi projects, launch, maintain the liquidity, and really build a functional platform. So as part of that, we're now working on this ReFi methodology with some of the best people, including ReFi DAO and you guys. It's super exciting. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to make sense of ReFi. We're going to try to standardize some of the parameters that we look at when we talk about ReFi projects to hopefully help bring a little bit of sense and also make it easier for new people, but also existing people to evaluate where they should spend their time and energy and resources to hopefully be able to highlight which projects are really in that ReFi game and who are still getting there and who is maybe not that much worried about ReFi and maybe does claim that they are. So it's really a way to help make sense of the space. Now, of course, this is an interesting topic. So what I want to dive into is kind of how people can get involved and what the program is going to look like. So what we're looking for primarily are people with a background in either something related to regeneration, nature, impact, and or ideally both DeFi, Web3 experience. So what we're trying to do is find those people, and we're going to work together on these reports during a time frame of about 2 weeks, where we'll be creating standardized reports and evaluate them together to come to some sort of a base understanding of the space in general. So as a rater, you're able to earn a bunch of things. First off, there's up to $25,000 worth in prizes to give away to raters. This includes CUSD tokens, it includes D2D tokens for every report that passes. Of course, you also gain experience and you network within the ReFi space, and you become part of this Prime Rating network where we already have over 50 raters that are doing this on the daily. Now, in addition to these general rewards for every accepted report, there's also bonuses for people that submit the most accepted reports or provide the best report, which can really be used as a standard for the next rating event or the ones to follow. So what we expect during the Rate-athon from raters is that they're able to use the evaluation framework that's going to be created in the next 2 weeks. It will be standardized, it will be rather simple to follow if you have some form of relative experience, and spend anywhere between 3 to 7, but it could be more or less, on creating a report on each project. We have a communication going on during the Rate-athon to ensure that not too many people are doing the same report, that we're doing the ones that we've already selected with the experts of, hey, these are super relevant. And if you're able to balance kind of these different matrices from impact, regeneration, to kind of the technical, more DeFi, entrepreneurship matrices, that would be a good fit. So if you do have that background and you're excited and really looking forward to dive into this, this is something relevant for you. So the applications are going to open now. Today it's saying 18, but it's actually today. It's going to start on the 13th of June, and it's going to run for 2 weeks until the 27th of June. During that time, the group of experts that we've selected and that are also working on creating the methodology will be around to provide guidance and feedback and make sure that every report that makes it through is at the standard that we want it to be. Getting involved is quite easy. All you have to do is go to primerating.xyz. That's primerating.xyz. There's a link. It's a nice looking Notion space where you can go into the specific ReFi Rate-athon section and use the type form to register. If you fill this in, you'll be contacted a couple days before the Rate-athon with all the relevant information. You'll be invited to the right communication channels, and you can jump right in and get started.
And if you're a new ReFi project and aren't listed on ReFiDAO.com but want to be considered for the Rate-athon, go ahead and submit your initiative on ReFiDAO.com. Let us know you want to be a part of the Rate-athon process, and we'll do our best to get through all the awesome people in this space. So this is kind of overview of the Notion doc, and yeah, it's exciting to have more and more people grow in this movement and figure out who's kind of in this for the long haul and who's the most ReFi in the ReFi space. So yeah, thanks, Luuk, for the overview. Is there anything that came up for you in that process, Paula, just kind of from the impact lens that you guys have a little bit more depth on or otherwise?
Yeah, I think that from now we are seeing a very nice party, right? So we saw many protocols to emerge, a lot of people also involved with ReFi in many spheres, right? So just want to see from you, Luuk, what is the everything behind like this event, and why is important to see the protocols from inside, the projects from inside, and also to do this in a distributed way?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there are a bunch of benefits to it. I think the first benefit is just some collective understanding for all of us to understand how we're doing. I think in a positive sense, not saying, oh, we're doing better than you, but just being able to say, hey, it seems your team is way more diverse than mine. Hey, maybe I should hire more A or B or C, or hey, you found a really impactful way. I'm definitely not as impactful yet. Can you help me get to that level? That's the kind of the mindset that I hope that we can start thinking in. But to be able to do that, to be able to coordinate and understand who we should ask for what and who's doing what, I think really a pre-given is that we need to have some sort of collective database of who's doing what are they looking at, what's different levels. So the intention has always been with Prime Rating not to say, oh, you're bad, but especially rewarding those that are good. Saying, hey, wow, we credit you, your team is super diverse. We credit you, your technology is superb, you've audited 27 times, whatever. And I think that's really exciting for me, because from that ground, can you start doing really impactful collaborations? Because no longer do you have to spend weeks or months to evaluate what you're doing, due diligence, and all the things that you would traditionally do before you do an agreement with someone. Here you know that third parties that have no relationship to those people at all have went deep in, and they say, hey, this and this and this is amazing. Maybe this is not so amazing yet, but you at least know what you're dealing with without having to do all that work yourself. So every hour that a rater puts in is an hour that the next potential partner doesn't have to do. And for me, that's really the most exciting part is, opening that collaboration space.
Yeah, it's super important. And I think it plays upon an interesting question. Paul, I know we've had some conversations around like, how do you actually measure impact? Right, it's really hard to do, and I know, Luuk, you've been grappling with some of that at like the global governance gathering. Like, how are you approaching this evaluation framework, and the tension of measuring impact?
Yeah, so I think part of this kind of 2-week sprint that's coming up with these experts and how we're trying to create this methodology, I think there's a lot that we just can't measure in any 3 to 7 hours. Something that's just not something you can tangibly take and say, oh, this is amazing or not that much. I do think that there are certain parts that we can start at least evaluating. Let's imagine the background of a team is something that it's not going to translate one-to-one into a specific impact, but if you know that someone has worked with the United Nations or worked with ABC, it's very likely that they have a good understanding and impact, and therefore if you throw resources or something with them, is most likely going to navigate in the right direction. And this navigate in the right direction, I think that's primarily the focus that I think this first Rate-athon should be on. It's not specifically trying to number it down into like the small details, but trying to understand who's moving in the right direction, who's moving into this real ReFi direction, and who are the parties that are wanting to go that but are just not there yet. Who should we help to get onto this trajectory? And I think for me, that's really what I hope we can evaluate, and not like you have impacted an X amount of dollars worth of impact. I don't think that's something we would get out of this. Or saying your carbon methodology is not great compared to mine. I also don't expect that to come out. I just expect that we can get a general understanding of, hey, these group of people are moving towards this ReFi vision. They're doing it really well on this front. We're not that great at this front yet. And as an industry, we then have some sort of a snapshot, just like in donut economy or something comparable. You just can't measure it. It's not like a one-off thing. But if you take enough kind of these moments, over time, we're going to see some evolution. We're going to see that maybe after 3 rating events, oh, this project went from again, I'm going to use the team diversification just as a simple example. They went from a very centralized kind of just 4 people in a room in one location with the same background to a global team with 4 offices in 4 different countries. Kind of, I think once you put kind of multiple timeframes next to each other, that's where the real exciting stuff is going to happen.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm super excited. Thanks so much for extending the opportunity to collaborate. I think it's great that this sprawling list that I started back in the day just to make sense of it is hopefully becoming useful to figure out who's doing what where. And massive shout out to folks at Climate Collective for helping to build this network map. And Paula, thanks for putting your impact effort into this. And can't wait to see, what insights emerge. And hopefully this is a kind of a snowball that builds momentum and we can start really focusing on projects that are in this for the long run and have the right reasons, and we can start leveraging the kind of collaborative spirit in DeFi and ReFi and beyond. Prime rating.xyz is the call to action. Luke, anything else to leave people with?
Correct.
Boom. Sweet.
Prime ReFi, not Prime Rating. Prime ReFi.xyz.
Prime ReFi.xyz. Sweet. Thanks for that. Awesome. Appreciate you guys coming out and looking forward to participating in the event.
Yeah,
Thanks
let's
so much,
go.
John. Thanks so much, Paula. See you soon.
See you guys. Ciao, ciao.